Hey y'all, welcome to Remote Viewing Investigations with Jessica. I'm your host, Jessica Jones. We'll be peering through the veil to shed light on mysterious cases from all over the world. We invite you to join us on this magnificent journey through space and time to try to unravel these mysteries. Please don't forget to give us a thumbs up, share this out, and subscribe to Texas Front Porch and to my channel, The Cryptid Huntress on YouTube. You can find us on Odyssey Radio and iHeartRadio and can contact us at Texas Front Porch on Facebook or email us at paracryptidencounters@gmail.com and oracleofthesouth@gmail.com. You can reach us through text at 972-559-0988. If you'd like to support us in what we do here, our super chats are open. Thanks and enjoy the show. Hey y'all, welcome into Remote Viewing Investigations with Jessica. I'm your host, Jessica Jones. I have a really interesting target for us tonight, and I have a pretty cool show set up. And we're going to be talking about the Wolf Woman of Mobile, Alabama. Okay, this is something that people have been talking about for many years, for a little bit longer than I've been born. Okay, it happened in 1971. It was only over the span of one day. However, it stirred up a lot of controversy and a lot of news. And so we had to look into this, especially knowing that we have a lot of dogman reports right now, okay, and werewolves and all sorts of really interesting bipedal cryptids on the circuit. So we're going to explore this tonight. I have remote viewed it. And my data is very interesting. Okay, so I'm going to read what this is so you guys can get a little enlightenment on what I'm going to be talking about tonight. Okay, so on April 8th of 1971, the police, the animal control, and the local newspaper were flooded by calls from citizens of Mobile, Alabama. They all described pretty much the exact same thing. It was a half woman, half wolf who was stalking the community during the daytime and the nighttime. The huge number of reports forced the police to take this matter seriously. And they brought in tracking dogs. Okay, they brought in tracking dogs, and the dogs, got on the scent of this creature until they hit the marsh. Apparently, there's a marsh. Mobile is actually on the Gulf of Mexico. It's at the very tiny tippy tip of Alabama, okay, down in the further southern part. And when the dogs got to the marsh, they refused to go into the marsh. And so after these dogs were kind of let loose to go track and they stopped right there, the activity stopped and the sightings stopped. Okay, so but it lasted 10 days and it left the whole community scared and in an uproar. Okay, so to help me tonight on this mysterious journey, I have my co-host tonight, Mr. Bigfoot Michigan Rob, from Brunch of Bigfoot Michigan Rob and Texas Front Porch. Hello, Rob.
Hi, Jessica. Thanks for having me back.
Well, I am so glad you're here. Thank you for joining me.
Well, yeah, when I found out werewolves and werewomen, yeah, two of my favorite subjects, including, Dogman. So.
Well, yeah, I don't get to look into too many werewomen and dog women.
Yeah, okay, what? Me either. I'm going to tell you a little later. I did a story on werewomen, which kind of coincides with what you got on my channel. But we'll let you continue on doing a fabulous job. But yeah, I can't wait to hear what what you've uncovered.
Yeah, well, I did 2 targets on this one, okay? Because the first vibes that I got before I ever remote viewed this were feral woman. Okay, I was getting feral woman. Maybe it's because I've been seeing a whole bunch of videos of feral children lately, from the past, from the 1990s and beyond, in the past. Of kids that were neglected by their parents or left somewhere, and they took up with their dogs, and were raised by dogs, and so they took on the characteristics, the traits of those dogs, and kind of became one of the pack, which is it's really sad. Actually, it's very sad. But I was thinking, maybe this was a feral woman. Of course, people said that the description was A woman and a wolf, pretty and hairy. Okay, and I got a few comments on my social media this week saying, "Oh, that sounds like my ex-wife or something," so,
Yeah.
or my ex-girlfriend. I got a lot of that this week, but they said that she was actually quite pretty. Okay, so I mean, do you imagine a dog woman or a were woman being pretty,
Yeah.
Rob?
I just pictured a pretty model's face on my German Shepherd. Still does nothing for me.
Right. Well, they said she
Yeah.
had the face of a woman, is what people
Yeah.
said. Okay. Um, Now, I just want to point out before we go any further that this is actually the same town where in 2006, I believe, there was also a spotting of another interesting cryptid. There was a leprechaun spotted in Mobile, Alabama. And for a lot of y'all,
A leprechaun?
I just
No.
absolutely love this story. Okay. I mean, there there is a
Oh.
website called wherethegoaldat.com.
Hey, I like his what do you call this mugshot?
It's
Have
a
you
it's
seen
a it's
this?
a sketch.
It says
Yeah.
hot hair orange, eyes blue, height 2 foot
Oh,
11,
oh, I didn't
and
mean to say that.
75 pounds. Oh, I
75 pounds.
remember.
Yeah, he was a chunky little guy.
Known
Yeah.
only to come out at night, circulating around local taverns.
Yes. Well, no, it was in a tree. Okay. And so, I mean, the head of my team, Trey, one of my teams, every year he does like he pays homage to the mobile leprechaun. Okay, on his social media, it is hilarious. If you guys have not gone to look up the mobile leprechaun, please do. It is gold. It's gold. But anyways, point is, cryptids. This is a very active area of high strangeness, Rob.
What?
Okay,
Yeah.
and
Well,
where
it's
the
something.
gold at.com.
Now,
Y'all go
now we're gonna
there.
have to. Now we're all have to investigate this. Now, something add
Yes.
to add. Something new to add.
Yes, it's something new to add. Okay, well, I want to show everybody where Mobile is down. I say Mobile. Okay, I'm from the South. Mobile is actually right down there on the very bottom of Alabama. I live in Georgia. I'm right next door, but it's down there at the Gulf of Mexico. I'm going to say I don't know which direction I'm going. Right down
Got it.
there.
Yep.
But anyways, it's right there where that it looks like there's what do you call it? An inlet or whatever, where that water goes up in there. That's
Like a
Mobile,
straight. Yeah.
a strait. Okay. You can see it down there on the map, Mobile. Okay. So, all right. So back in 1971, what all was going on in Mobile? Rob, I'm not just asking. I'm gonna tell you, okay, because
Okay.
I've got it lined up.
I know
Okay,
you do.
well, in the South, we had a lot of, and this is before I was born, okay, and let me just get that clear. But it was before I was born, but there was a lot of racial tension going on in Alabama, even up into 1971. There had been kind of what some people described as a race riot in Mobile back in I think it was the 50s, I believe. I've got it around here somewhere. But with the integration, a lot of things have been segregated down there in the South
Yeah.
for a while, and they were working on integrating. Let's just put it that way, okay? And the civil rights movement had a big part to play down there,
Yes.
okay? And but there was a lot of tension nonetheless, okay? And in 1971, the big thing was President Nixon paid a visit down to Mobile, okay? And so and I'm going to, in a little bit, I'm going to mention about the paper having this story ran in it. And this is him in front of the newspaper office in a parade, I believe. He went down there to do like a ribbon cutting ceremony or breaking the ground on, let's see, some sort of waterway. Okay. There was some kind of waterway that was.
You mean not Watergate, right?
Not Watergate.
Okay.
No,
Gotcha.
It was the groundbreaking of the Tennessee Tombigbee Waterway Project, not the Watergate. Do not get it twisted, okay? but yeah, that was going on down there. That was the big news, okay? And a couple of years later, Elvis came. Trust me, when you look up Mobile, Alabama in the 70s, it's all about Elvis, okay? So, and I believe Elvis was from Mississippi, right?
Yeah, I think he was from Memphis.
Tupelo.
He was from Tennessee, I thought.
I thought he was from Tupelo.
See,
I don't know.
People
I'm sure somebody in the comments knows.
People that love Elvis think we're fools right now because everyone's Graceland, wherever Graceland is.
Oh, that's Memphis. That's Memphis. Yeah. Well, I thought he was born in Mississippi, though.
I know he was a Southern boy.
Somebody knows. Let's see. All right.
Yeah,
Nobody's typed it yet.
she started out as a gospel musician.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Okay. We're not here to talk about Elvis tonight, though.
No, we're
We're here to
not.
talk about the Wolf Woman who showed up in April of 1971 down there. Okay. Ah, see, I know what I'm talking about. Thank you. And Walking Lightly 369. I appreciate your confirmation. Yeah. And AJK. See, I know what's up. But, but anyways,
Jeez, okay.
yes. Okay. And Horace. Thank y'all. Thank
Yeah.
y'all so much.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Moving right along. So, okay. So this was a big deal. All these people were seeing this creature. It just kind of came out of nowhere. Some people were assuming that this was a skinwalker. Okay. A skinwalker. Now, what is a skinwalker? It's like a person. It starts off as a human and it transforms itself from a human to an animal. Okay. And a lot of times that has to do with black magic. Okay. I mean, that, let's just be real. Let's put it down on the table. It has to do with a lot of black magic, skinwalkers. I'm going to tell you what my data came up with. Okay. We're going to go straight to my data right now. Okay. Because like I told you, I was getting a feral vibe, like a feral human. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first thing I got, you guys, in my data, and by the way, if anyone is interested in looking at my data, you can join my Patreon. Okay, you can have access to all of my raw remote viewing data. It's on the clicker down below, that thing that's scrolling across the screen. Go to the Cryptid Huntress on Patreon. Okay, but immediately I got werewolf. Okay, werewolf, 100% werewolf, and I got, it was very human-like. And Rob, I got voodoo. Okay. I was picking up on voodoo. I did not look into the history behind this place, or I didn't know a whole lot about it. I just was looking into what this creature was. Okay. And I did all the historical research afterwards. And by the way, I do have an Eyewitness account. Okay.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about that in just a little bit as well. And this Eyewitness may be in the chat tonight. I'll have to look and see.
So when you're saying voodoo, and you're going back to maybe perhaps that came from somewhere in Alabama, or I always thought that originated in Louisiana, or what are you thinking? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I think it's regional. Okay, obviously it's regional. I think that there are people that do voodoo all over the world. Okay, and that does have roots in maybe the Santa Riga or Santa. I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Santa Riga.
Yes, what is something like that? Yes. So yes, I think that it's, I'd say maybe all over the Gulf Coast. Okay, and the coastal cities, the coastal towns. But yeah, it's all over. Okay, so yeah, but I picked up on voodoo, the Creole type stuff, like Creole. So yeah, so that would be like Louisiana.
Yeah,
maybe maybe it was people who had moved from Louisiana area over into southern Alabama. Right there on that Gulf. So
I'm just thinking that because if my geography is correct, they're next to each other.
It's Louisiana, Mississippi,
over,
and then Alabama, and then Georgia. Yeah.
But they all run along the Gulf, so
yeah, could have been. But I picked up Rougarou. Okay, that is something I have never looked into too much, was the Rougarou. Now I know it's kind of it's a werewolf, a type of werewolf. We're going to get into that in just a minute too. But I picked up on Rougarou. All right, so this thing was a Rougarou, and I could not tell you if it was a female or a male. I couldn't tell. And so I did not pick up that it was a woman. Okay, I just picked up that it had something. It was conjured up, created, very human-like, but it was a Rougarou type werewolf, that basically a skinwalker that transformed. Yeah. Okay, and it was only for a short time. It was only there for 10 days, but yeah, and it was done because I picked up on a whole lot of evil, dark vibes and like tension and things like that in that area. and it was done out of kind of a vengeance on someone, is what I picked
Right.
up. Okay, so very interesting data. I didn't go too much farther into that data because I got all the answers I needed right there.
Mhm.
Werewolf. Okay, and it was something that did transform out of magic.
So maybe you're
Okay.
thinking that during this race riot or whatever was going on,
Hmm.
that some voodoo was used and sued and was cast spells or cast on certain individuals
Yeah,
to perhaps to
I guess so.
to turn him into a shapeshifter, perhaps.
Yes. Yes. Well, let me pull up some pictures, okay, that we have tonight. And I have a lot of information tonight. So yes, if I sound like I'm rushing, I saw a comment in there. I've got a lot to talk about tonight. So there's no lagging around. Okay. We're on it, dog on it tonight. So I just want to show the audience what the newspaper put out there, because the newspaper, they had to respond because there was such a influx of calls to the animal control, to the newspaper, to the police department. And so they almost kind of made like a joke out of it in a way. And it was enough to put everybody in a tizzy. But okay, so I've
Hmm.
been given permission to use my eyewitness's name. Okay, so Flat Rock Boogers, you guys, it's in the chat. I don't know if he's in the chat tonight, but y'all know Flat Rock. He lives in he lives in Alabama. Okay. And he was there in Mobile when all this was going on. And he sent me a message saying, this was a, this was almost like a joke. Okay. He said there was so much going on there that had to do with, a lot of, sorry. Okay. A lot of like bad racial tensions and things like that were going on. And there was a whole lot more to this than what they were actually putting out there to the public. Okay. But this
Mhm.
was the picture that was in the paper. And this is a better, kind of a better version of that.
Mm.
Okay. And hold on, let me take that comment down. Yeah. And so there's that. And so it looks like a pretty woman with doggy ears and, wolf feet. Okay.
Yeah.
So they said that she was pretty though, and so that was kind of what people took as kind of like a joke. Okay. Oops. Well,
Oh.
I didn't mean to pull this up, but I'll go ahead and talk about this now. This is Romulus and Remus. We'll talk about this in a minute. I really didn't mean to pull that up. We're gonna get back to that, y'all. Okay, in just a minute. But that was kind of what they were. Oh, there is. Yes, there's Flat Rock. Hello, Flat Rock. Thank you for being here tonight. But that's what they put out there for everybody to see. Now I'm going to show you kind of what I was seeing, okay, and then I'm going to show you the picture that Flat Rock drew and sent it to me. He said this was more of what what they were reporting. Okay, now this is actually this is some of the artwork that people
Oh,
throughout the
wow.
years have kind of put together as an artist rendition of what it looked like. Okay,
That
a
is
woman with a wolf
crazy.
body, and we've got this
Mm.
monstrosity, this beautiful wolf woman. It looks like
Yeah.
something from the cast of Cats on
Yeah.
Broadway.
I
Okay.
mean, yes.
Right? Okay. And now this is something I'm going to show you. This is kind of more like what I was seeing right here. Eh, little,
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah.
look like that. It doesn't
That's
look that pretty lady.
yeah, that's your basic monster.
This is kind of more
Yeah.
like what I was
Werewolf, dog
seeing.
man, yeah.
And then I'm going to show you what Flat Rock, the picture he drew, and said this was kind of more of the deal right here.
Yeah, that's pretty cool
Um,
drawing.
he said that it walked on two legs. It was bipedal. Usually, I'm sure it could get on four,
Mhm.
but yeah, this thing was terrorizing people. It never actually hurt anyone that I know of. Okay, um, it did not actually hurt anyone. Now I'm going to read you kind of what Flat Rock said. I'm going to give you kind of a general overview. He said that it looked like a woman, but it wasn't. And it was said to have a long mane from the top of its head down its back, not the picture in the photo that the newspaper put out, but it walked on two legs. And yeah, at the time that this came out, Mobile, Alabama was on fire. Okay. There was a lot of shooting and burning down of homes. and people's pets kept coming up missing, and they'd find their dead pets or their heads were cut off in trash cans and things like that. And that actually happened to him and his family. Okay, so it was a very horrible time down there in that history. So that was not easy for him to tell me about that, and it's very sensitive, but it's a sensitive subject, and but it kind of plays a part in all this. Okay, having all of that discord down there, and all the tensions, especially the racial tensions and everything, and um, I don't know the full history behind Mobile with the Native American history and battles that were fought, Civil War for all I know.
Right.
Um, I'm not sure of all of the history down there, but I do know that there was a lot of strife going on at the time, and it was evil. I was picking up on a very evil kind of energy. I actually remote viewed the whole energy of the area, like the land and stuff. I actually remote viewed that to get a feel on it, and it was very kind of what Flat Rock said is what I picked up on. Okay, but it was just a really rough time. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to just cut it short. I'm just going to say it was very evil and very dense, dark energy down there at that time, and it was a perfect breeding ground for the wolf woman of Mobile. Okay, but yeah. Okay, let's pull up some more pictures. Let's get some more pictures while we're out here. Okay, so now if it's a werewolf, that means that it has to transform.
Right.
Okay, it's a transformer. All right, and so these are just some pictures I found out, or I found on the online. Okay, and I don't know. We've heard this before about werewolves transforming. I did a show on Spaced Out Radio with Dennis Carroll. We talked about uh, well, humans transforming into werewolves and how bones crack and joints move, and it's really painful for the human. Okay, but yeah, that's kind of what we picked up on there. Now I did find a bunch of pictures of she wolves.
Yeah.
Okay, so use your imagination here. These are some of the pictures I found. um I had this on my social media today. These, because this is a pretty lady,
Yeah.
but she's transforming into a darn werewolf right there, I do believe. So uh big, and I thought
This.
I had big feet.
Yeah. Jeez. Hey, I was waiting for you to do part of this because this reminds me.
Uh-oh, tell me.
Now, this reminds me, you guys. I did a story on my channel, right? And
Hmm.
it's very similar to this, but a little bit different. This was in Persia. This is like in the 1930s, 1940s, and in the hills, and this along the countryside, this village was at the foothills of the mountains, and they would always hear these screams and yells at night, and they continue to get closer and closer to camp. And they said that it was the women. Okay, it's these
Uh-huh.
women that run wild in the woods. So they came down, and they'd seen these women all of a sudden come down out of the hills on all fours. They're all covered in hair. They ran through this village, then they got up and ran on 2 feet. Now, from head to toe, they were covered like hair, but they had the face. I'm not going to say pretty because I'm assuming they weren't, but a face of a woman. And then a lot of them had babies draped on their breasts as though they were feeding,
Hmm.
and they would go through the village and kidnap the villagers' kids and take them back up into the mountains.
Yeah, that's an interesting story. I was looking up she wolves today. Okay, and I do recall when I was a kid, we used to travel up to Rome, Georgia, where my great grandparents live. My family's part of my family's from up in
Hmm.
Rome, and we would drive by the courthouse, and on the courthouse steps they have a statue of the she wolf feeding Romulus and Remus. And this is a story from Rome, okay, ancient Rome, okay, and these two babies were pretty much sentenced to death. Their
Hmm.
mother was the daughter of a king, and I guess the father or her dad was killed, and the brother took over. So her uncle, and he didn't want any threats, so he decided to have those children killed or taken out. So they were gone. They were left on a riverbank. This is how the story goes. Left on a riverbank to die, and they were taken care of by a she wolf. Okay,
Yeah.
and the god of the river. Okay, I believe it was like the god of the river took them in, and they were suckled, I guess you call it,
Yeah.
by the she wolf. And so and these stories are pretty common. I mean, that's not
Hmm.
like the only story of children being taken care of by animals, throughout history. There's a bunch of them. And
Oh yeah.
like I said, I was really feeling that vibe of feral human when I heard this story. And so, I've been seeing videos of, this is really sad,
Yeah.
but
Well, that's
I don't know if this is a real picture or a painting. I'm
pro-
not sure what this is. I just found
probably
this.
probably not. Yeah, but still, it gives you an idea that. I tell you what, that's sad because that does go
Yeah,
on.
it does. Well, it's out of neglect. Children
Hmm.
either neglect, they're lost, they're taken in by a pack of animals, and yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was pretty sure that my data was going to take me on the direction of a feral human.
Yeah.
Um, but that's not where it went at all. And so I don't know. There's just a whole bunch of very similar stories. Okay, let's see. I have more pictures. I
Well, it
have a
makes
whole bunch
sense,
more.
and it does
Yeah.
make sense that you would think feral human because not everything
Hmm.
could be a creature, right? Or shapeshifter or dog person,
Well, I
and it
mean, you
and it
don't
kind
want
of
it to
makes
be.
sense, right?
Yeah. I'd ra- I don't want to say I'd rather it be a feral human, but I'm gonna give you some accounts of kind of some things that were happening in that area. Um, okay, so people of the area. Okay, well, I'm going to tell you what the people of the area had said about this creature. They one child had claimed. They said, "Well, my daddy sighted it down in a marsh, and it chased him home. Now my mommy keeps the doors and windows locked." Okay. Some people said that they thought that this creature was something that had escaped from a circus sideshow.
Mm.
Okay, so there was a whole bunch of speculation as to what this creature was. Um, but like I said, nobody was ever reported harmed by this thing.
Yeah.
So go figure, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but throughout history, there have been reports of feral people. Could this have been what it was? There was a report of a wild child named the Lobo Wolf Girl on Devil's River. Now, I'm not exactly sure where this is in relation to Mobile, Alabama. I mean, it may not even be super close to there, but it's
Yeah.
somewhere. It says that in May of 1953, which this was like 20 years prior, the wolf girl of Devil's River was born to Molly Dent, who had gone with her husband to the Beaver Lake area to trap. Molly was having problems during childbirth. So her husband rode to get help from a Mexican run ranch on the Pecos Canyon. So I'm assuming this may be over in Texas or something. Okay. But this is just an account of feral humans.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, so he went to go get help, but he was struck and killed by lightning before he could return, uh, accompanied by a couple that he went there to go pick up. So that's tragic in itself, right there.
Yes. Hmm.
But there were wolf tracks in the vicinity, and wait, was she dead or he died? I thought that she had died, but I guess maybe he had died. I don't know. This is crazy. When I read this before, I thought it was the woman had died in childbirth, but there was the child was gone when they got back. Let's just put it that way. The child was gone. There were wolf tracks nearby, and they just assumed the baby had been eaten by wolves.
Mm.
But in 1945, a boy saw a girl in the company of a pack of wolves. They were attacking a herd of goats. And a year later, a woman in San Felipe saw two large wolves and a girl devour a freshly killed goat. She observed the girl running off on all four legs and then stood up on two legs.
Wow.
So that happens too. Okay. And they saw a girl howling like a wolf as well. Okay. So
I
yeah,
think years ago that you can certainly account for that. What do you think about in like the year 2022? You think there are feral women or feral men that
totally.
that we come
Yeah.
across on a I can't say a regular basis, but You think you've
Right.
across in the woods, like you think that that's? I mean, I know they exist in the inner city because I've seen some feral people in inner city actually
Well,
several years ago.
I mean, we can only assume that there are feral people. I mean, but I don't know. I don't think it's very
And
common.
I guess what I'm talking about
But
is like, do you believe? Okay, let me rephrase it. Do you believe that babies or toddlers were captured and raised by wolves and nurtured?
yeah, I mean, it happens. It's probably a lot more prevalent back in the day than it is today.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. But we hear stories about kids getting lost out in the woods and being taken care of by bears, but I don't believe they're bears. I think they're Sasquatch personally.
I think a bear would eat them. Bear hunt,
You'd think
especially.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah. You'd think so. I
no
don't
doubt in my
know.
mind.
I don't know. But yeah, I don't
Yeah, I
know.
know AJK was making fun of 30 minutes from where I live, Detroit. LOL.
Yeah.
The feral people of Detroit.
Yeah. Wow. Um so yeah, but also freak shows. I mean, just imagine back in the day, the circuses would have freak shows. Okay. Today, that is so not politically correct, right?
Yeah, right.
I don't think that would pass today. So, um,
Did you? Oh, you know what? I watch all these weird movies, right? I go on YouTube and I look up like the Wolf Man. I found this this movie. It was about it was called The Werewolf, and they actually caught a feral boy raised by wolves, right? And he's this man and this woman. They had their little freak show where they had him in a cage and they were charging people $1 or whatever the money was back then
oh,
to see this kid, and he's all acting all creepy in the cage. Then he escaped, turned into a werewolf, came back, killed these people, and that was a pretty cheesy movie. Then it ended. It was only about an hour and 5 minutes. It's exactly what you talked about.
wow. Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
I don't know.
yeah,
I couldn't imagine going to see one of those now.
yeah,
Yeah.
as a little kid, man, I was scared of the circus because I don't like clowns. Clowns, even to this day, I don't like clowns. I don't like them.
Yeah.
I think that
I had
I
an
found
issue with
clowns.
clowns too.
I find them to be very creepy and not funny.
Yeah. I don't think, well, especially after that, what is that, John Wayne Gacy? Dressed
Oh
like a
God,
clown.
yeah,
He kind of ruined it. And Ronald McDonald too. I don't know. I had all my birthday parties at McDonald's as a kid. So, all right.
yeah.
Anyways, yeah. Is a clown considered a cryptid? I think it could be.
I think we'll classify it as that.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding, everybody. But yeah, so let's get back on the topic of Rougarou. How about that? Okay, let's get back into the werewolf thing. Because werewolves, I didn't think they were all that common myself. Okay. So but now I feel like I'm talking about them every week on one of my shows. So
You are. I think I've done it.
yeah.
I am too. But you know what? This damn Bigfoot that I encountered now, I know about everything now. Werewolves. I didn't think werewolves were true 5 years ago. No, I'm
Yeah.
serious. I thought werewolf did not exist.
Well, they put it in the movies and stuff. So
Right.
like they're in the movies and it's almost like they're giving us a little taste of reality, what's actually out there. But you never know it, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to believe it. So yeah. Well, let's see. All right. So I was picking up on some kind of we're talking about Rougarou, okay, and werewolves. And yeah, shapeshifters. So I don't even know how to put this. I got to be careful what I say. Um, yeah, so the Cajun lore claims that Rougarou possesses the body of a man, the head of a wolf or a dog with glowing red eyes. So the weird thing is, people were saying that this creature had a woman's head and a wolf's body.
Yeah.
But see, a Rougarou is kind of opposite. I mean, it's not opposite, but it has people said it had like kind of a woman's head.
Yes.
But according to what Flat Rock, the picture that he drew,
Yeah.
and from eyewitness accounts, it doesn't look like a woman at all. Now,
Well, no, it looks like a actual
how
animal.
how could that be mistaken for a woman, though,
I
Rob?
I tell you what, I've dated some awfully weird looking women, but not quite like that. No, it looks
Oh my
like
gosh.
it looks like a wolf. It looks like a head of a fox. Even I mean, it certainly does not look like a human being. Let's put it to you that way.
Yeah.
Women, man, it looks
Yes.
like a dog or a wolf, a canine.
Yes. Well, Rougarou is actually the mischief word for werewolf. It's like a werewolf, but it can turn into a wolf form anytime. So that means it can. The Rougarou is said to be able to transform at any time. So it doesn't have to have anything special going on. It can just turn. Okay. Um, yeah, but it makes it more dangerous, is what that says. It can make it dangerous because this thing, I guess, it's like a human that can just transform at any time
Yeah, right on the spot. Don't have to wait for the
on command.
don't.
Right.
Yeah, like a dog. You don't have to
Yeah.
wait for the full moon.
Yeah. I was reading, it was like in one of the articles I was reading, it said it's often used by parents to get their children to behave. Okay. That's a horrible way to get your children to behave, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Um, I was also reading that Catholics, the Catholic religion, has their own version as well. They say the Rougarou is a monster that will stalk and murder Catholics that do not obey the rules of Lent.
Yeah.
What is
See, I know
that?
I'm Catholic, and that's the first time I heard that one.
So your parents never use that on you, like the
No,
Rougarou
they
is
did
going to
not
get you.
stick the Rougarou on me.
Okay.
The worst thing that happened to me is Sister Wanda would take the ruler and smack my knuckles in class because I was misbehaving.
I'm sure you never deserved that.
I did
Right.
not.
Never.
I thought she was. Now she possibly was a shapeshifter.
Oh my gosh. Maybe.
You
Who
know.
knows? These days, we just don't know. We just don't know.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Okay. Well, it said that some people say the curse or blessing for evil people because evil people want to be turned into werewolves. There is that also. I did that a show about where I was talking about the Church of Satan and the Brotherhood of Satan. Once you reach a certain level, you can transform into a werewolf or a vampire. Okay. And that was from, I learned that from that lecture that Bill Shonobelum gave
Mm-hmm.
this online. And he used to be in the Brotherhood of Satan. And he decided to become a vampire. He was a little more romantic, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, from what he and other
Well, that
people have
was
said,
this.
being a werewolf is very painful.
Well, yes. I mean, come on. Your bones are now extended by 4 feet. I mean, just think about
Yeah.
that when they perform when they go through the shape shifting ritual, right? I mean, we've all seen the shows. It's like, oh man, how could their whole body's getting stretched? Yeah, hell yeah, it's painful. I would assume.
Yeah, it's rough. I don't know. I don't think I'd want to be either. I'm good being my little self that I am right now. I'm perfectly happy with who I am. Okay.
If I
So
could shapeshift, I'd pick an eagle.
an eagle, like a
Mm-hmm.
thunderbird,
That's a bald eagle.
bald eagle.
Just soar
Okay.
about the countryside.
Okay, that's a good one. Okay, those things are huge. Um, okay, well, some say that this when you become a Rougarou, it lasts for 101 days. All right, 101 days. The curse is then transferred to the last person bitten. So I guess like it's almost like vampiric, right? Like
Yeah.
when you got to bite somebody and then you become one. Maybe that's part of how you become one. You got to be bitten. But it says the curse usually comes from a local witch, sometimes a voodoo priestess. And that was 100% in my data was voodoo and black magic. Okay,
Mm.
that was the from had that is what caused the origin of this creature that people were seeing. It was voodoo and black magic.
And really quickly too, Jessica, do you recall which creature it is to transform back to human where you have to kill a loved one? I know there's
Um,
one. There's something out there.
I think that would be. I don't
Skinwalker.
know.
Skinwalker.
I don't think anyone has ever revealed exactly what it takes to become a
Mm-hmm.
skinwalker to me. I've only
Mm-hmm.
heard stories. I don't even know if I want to know, but it's very disgusting, whatever it is, and it's has to do with children, maybe killing children. I don't know. I don't want to think about it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, spouses, siblings, children, all that kind of stuff. It's
But
very dark and very evil.
yeah, now I'm gonna have to investigate that.
Yeah, not on my watch. I'm just kidding.
No, not during the show, of course.
Not right now.
Don't let
Yes.
Tex here because Tex will want you to do a deep dive on that.
Yeah. Gene says Skinwalker.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Gene.
So
I thought it was. I just want to make sure.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like so kind of what those people were seeing was very similar to just a werewolf like you would see on the underworld, like the lichens. It was somewhat of a lycanthrope, I think is what they call those.
Yeah, I like that
Okay.
series.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually a really great series. Um, but yeah, if it's something that moved over from, Louisiana area over there, I maybe it was a person who used to live in the Louisiana area. Okay, that came to Mobile. But nonetheless, there was just so much chaotic energy in that area at the time and a lot of strife. And I also did pick up that it was created out of vengeance of some sort. But let me just say, it didn't, there were no reports of it hurting anyone. So take that how you will.
Yeah.
I don't know. It didn't hurt anybody. And so I wonder why that is. How did it not hurt anybody? I mean, I will tell you before you answer that question. Flat Rock did tell me that there were animal mutilations, a lot of them, but it was actually, according to his report, and he's in the chat tonight, so maybe he can back this up. It was not uh, blamed on the creature, it was blamed on the race war that was kind of going on. And it was one side against another. And there was a lot of animal mutilations and just weird, just mean stuff going on.
Yeah, and if it was created out of the race, one of the race tensions, certainly it was created
Hmm.
to wreak havoc on human beings, right? Not
Yeah, it
not
sounds very
cattle.
demonic, right?
Yeah, not cattle or your pets. I mean, I think the intention would have been to cause human carnage.
Yeah, and animal carnage. I mean, just blood sacrifice. Maybe it was blood sacrifice.
Mhm.
In the Dogman cases that I've looked into when I do remote viewing with those, I've picked up that they are going for blood and adrenochrome and things like that. That adrenalized blood. So maybe there's a connection.
Nothing, brown dwarf, just my hair.
Yeah, everybody's loving your bandana, Rob. Is
Oh
that
yeah,
pink? You got on pink one
no,
tonight?
it looks pink. No, it's like
Salmon?
it's like a purple.
Just kidding.
It's yeah, no, it's a mixture of purple and dark plum.
Yeah. Gene said that bald eagles are protected, so you won't get shot.
Yeah, see, Gene, that's why I chose that. Absolutely.
Is that the only reason? Yeah.
No,
Um,
I like having an eagle eye.
yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you guys are awesome in the chat tonight. Thank y'all for the compliments and all the comments. Y'all are funny and awesome. We do appreciate that. But
Yes,
let's
thank you.
see.
Hi to everybody. I can't type tonight.
It's okay. I got you over here. All right. So Flat Rock said people were beheading pets and throwing them back in their yards and trash cans, which is
Mm,
horrible and disgusting. I can't
I tell
understand why
you what,
anybody would do that.
that would be terrible. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it just sounds like a very demonic act, in my opinion. I mean, that is just out of pure hatred and evil,
Yeah,
and to
definitely.
keep people living in fear. It's almost like it was a spirit that just enveloped an entire town or region, in my opinion. And I did kind of pick up on that. Um, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was stirring people up, and yes, I believe that there was a lot of probably there's a lot of blood in the ground there from the Civil War battles and Native American battles and things like that. Who knows? I did not do the deep dive on the history of Mobile, but I do know there was we don't know. I don't know for sure,
You never
but
do.
it just seemed like there was an energy of evil and destruction and chaos that was kind of plaguing that area at the time, and it was a perfect storm for someone to use some black magic, some voodoo, some whatever to uh, stir up a skinwalker, or they say that when like Satanists, for instance, are going to do a ritual, a lot of times when they're out, they go out in the field to like the most disturbing place, like a place like a landfill, something that stinks and it's dark, and that's where they do a lot of rituals. That's where they choose to do their rituals, somewhere that's like Brown Springs, Rob.
Oh yeah, it always has to come up
Yeah.
at least once, right?
Well, Tex isn't here, so I figured
Yeah,
I'd bring it up.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. And Flat Rock said his pets were beheaded. I
Oh
mean,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, now that's sad. There are some people I'd rather see beheaded than a pet.
Oh, don't say that. Now stop it.
Well, just kidding. Maybe
Just
I'm kidding.
kidding. Oh my gosh. Okay, now I just got sweaty. Don't say stuff like that. Don't say stuff like that. It's always like when people are watching TV, it's like they get more upset when they see an animal die.
Yeah,
Because you know what? Because we're so numb to it, and that's actually a big issue, in my opinion. Is like we as humans, like we're so numb to
we are.
humans killing each other.
And it is sad because, not to change the subject, yeah, the news for one, which I don't even watch news every day to see something bad and tragic happens, and we're like, we just change the station, we get up and get a bottle pop, like big deal.
Pop? You mean Coke?
Coke, yeah.
What is pop?
I
You're
don't
from
know.
up north.
Yeah, we say.
See,
Well,
we're talking about the South tonight.
yeah,
So
well,
where is Coke?
Coke. Well,
Okay.
yeah, I say no. I say I know. I normally do say Coke. I definitely don't
Yeah.
use that word soda.
Yeah. It's Coke. But anyways,
It's Coke.
yeah. Just to reiterate. Okay. Let's see what else we talk about. I kind of did. Yeah. I don't know. I have to assume that there's also Native American tribes down there too. I mean, I think down in the South there would be Creek Seminoles, probably, since it's so close to Florida.
Yeah.
I'm not sure their history with like skinwalkers and stuff like that, but I would assume that there could be some knowledge of skinwalker type information down that way, uh, activity maybe back in the day. But yeah, I didn't pick up on Native American black magic or any kind of skinwalker vibes. I was picking up specifically on voodoo and that whole Creole energy down there. So yeah,
Hey,
just
I
wanted to
believe.
cover the
No,
bases.
no, yeah, you did good job. I believe it. I mean, I believe something to that nature. The only thing I can't figure out, as we were discussing, it didn't like it was. I'd have thought that maybe it would have attacked more people, but hey, I guess in hindsight, that's good, right?
Hmm. It is. Now it's interesting that completely stopped. Like after the dogs went on, they sent the dogs to track this being, and the dog stopped at the marsh. It ran off into the marsh. It was never seen again in that area. Now, did it just move locations? Did it go bite somebody and turn into someone else in another county over? I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea, but I find that pretty interesting because Barry Littleton's been coming on and doing some shows with me, and we've been having the conversation about cryptids that kind of jump in and then jump out of our reality. Okay, and so this is like kind of another one of those. It's something that kind of came in to the public consciousness,
Mhm.
and then it was here for 10 days and then it left, just like the Mothman.
Well, I tell you what, it makes sense to me that it was maybe a spell. Now if you put it that way, it makes a lot more sense. I mean, 10 days and gone. Because typically, not that I know much about voodoo, I haven't been in Haiti anytime soon, but typically a spell cast by a black priest, that doesn't typically last for your lifetime, does it? Or can it?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot of knowledge of that stuff
Yeah, no, me either.
on purpose. Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's just
that's
another rabbit hole we're probably going to tread down. Watch in 6 months, I'll have a witch on the show.
you've probably already had witches on your show, Rob. You just don't know it.
Ah,
I'm just kidding. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's
now I got to go back and check it out.
yeah. It's just there's a whole lot of I never even heard of black magic that much until this past couple of years, and it comes up a lot. And I am shocked at how much black magic is in this world right now. Okay. And I don't know if this is like an uptick or I'm just hearing it more. I read tarot cards and stuff, and that's for fun, and oracle cards. And I do that to try to help people on a spiritual level.
Yes.
But like if you listen to YouTube and you're listening to tarot videos, it's like every reader I listen to is like, oh, somebody's been doing black magic on you, and I'm
Well,
like, what? How could there be that many people in this world doing black magic on me? I mean, maybe they are. I don't know. That's
now, are
fine.
there not card readers though that do read that have evil intentions? Like when you
Yeah.
hear tarot card, before I investigated or knew about it, I thought, as 20 years ago, I thought tarot card reading was like a gypsy.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
I didn't know a whole lot about it either. So, I didn't know a whole lot about it. I mean, I read, I've learned the tarot. Okay. I say tarot because I'm from the South, but it's tarot. Okay. I understand.
tarot.
I'm
Yeah,
pronouncing it wrong. I pronounce everything wrong. I
I
know
thought it
y'all,
was.
I hear that from
I
everybody.
thought it was tarot card, right?
Yes. I mean, I used to call Vienna sausages Vienna sausages when I was a teenager. So, and I got made fun of for that too. That's fine. But anyways, but yeah, there is a stigma to all this stuff. Okay. And so, yeah, and there's still people that don't like tarot card readings and things like that. And so that's fine. That's fine. It is what it is. We all have a right to have our own beliefs with everything. And I don't know how this world works. I'm trying to figure it out.
Mm.
But yeah, it's all about perception. But yeah, I do hear a lot about black magic these days. I do hear a lot about werewolves. And now I have looked into the wolf woman of Mobile, Alabama, and I have determined that she was, or he, I can't say it was a she. I believe it was a it. Okay. It was a
Yeah.
they, them. I'm not sure what it was. And it's gender neutral. And this thing, people may have gotten it confused for a woman because it had a long mane. And that's something that Flat Rock had mentioned to me. Okay. And so we don't know for sure, but I can say that it was a werewolf. In my opinion, it's not just my opinion; it's my data
Yeah.
is says that and confirms that. Yeah, for remote viewing. And this was actually a really fun target. No one was hurt in this whole scheme of it. Okay, so that makes it even better. And it was classified in my data as Rougarou.
Hmm.
All right, so this is our
Yeah.
first Rougarou, and yeah, this is an interesting question. Do I think that Satanism is on the rise? I have no idea. I don't know.
Well, we just
Um,
did a show on it the other night too.
you did. It was last night, right? With Satanism in the Space
Yeah.
Force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's always been there.
It has. I believe
You
so
know.
too. I think the people are just kind of more open about things now, and things are more out in the open. Okay, starting in 2020, let's put it that way. I believe that was the year of sight, and the cover was blown for a lot of things, and I think that's one of them. Is a lot of the ritualistic stuff that's in our governments and all over, popular culture. Let's just put it that way. So, yeah. So I don't know if it's gotten bigger or it's more out there. I just think that we're seeing it now. We recognize it now. Okay. So, yeah. Well, everybody, thank y'all so much for joining me tonight. And Rob, thank you so much for co-hosting.
Yeah. Hey, no problem.
This has been a fun show, and I hope that this answered some questions for everybody. I know that this was a very dark time in the history of Mobile, Alabama, and I do believe that this was a creature that was conjured and kind of like a skinwalker type animal creature,
Right.
human turned into something like a werewolf. And I hope this helps. I hope this helps. And if anyone would like to see all my data, I have more data. It's all on my Patreon. You guys are welcome to join. And anybody on my Patreon, if you're a VIP member and you haven't sent me your address, I have gifts for you guys. So please send me your address, and you'll get a really cool something another for me before the end of the month. Okay.
Oh,
So
cool. Very cool.
yeah. So thank you all so much for being here, Rob. You guys join me tomorrow night. I am going to be on Spaced Out Radio with Barton Nunnally from Kentucky, and we're going to be talking Dogman, Sasquatch. I've actually remote viewed a couple of things for him. We're going to talk about tomorrow night, and then on Sunday I have Nick Valente coming on, so it's going to be more Dogman. Okay, so and Sasquatch and gargoyles. We're going to touch on gargoyles on Sunday.
Well, that'll be pretty sweet.
It's going to be fun. Yeah. And also, I've started a new daytime show on Wednesdays. I may be changing the time of that, but it's on next Wednesday during the day. Y'all come join me on my YouTube channel. All right. Well, everybody have a wonderful night. Rob, thanks again for being here.
No problem.
And I enjoyed exploring the wolf woman of Mobile, Alabama. All right. Let's see if I can pull this up. All right. Listen, you guys have a good night, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.